Yes, it's another Sunday, Richie.
PG, where you get that shirt from? The shirt look nice, see, man?
Reggie, make my muscle them look big.
I have muscles. Muscles.
Yes, it's another Sunday, and as Richie says, if it's Sunday, it is Sunday Scoops. Welcome to each and every one to this another Sunday of Sunday Scoops. And today we're featuring none other than the big bad Gregory Isaacs Order of Distinction.
Order of Distinction is right. Boy, I never see a man go to prison as much as Gregory Isaacs.
And my granddad said my prison.
They say, who there? Gregory Isaacs, their prison. But one of the best voices to have come out of that reggae era. And I should point out that we're expecting Dr. Dennis Howard to join us at any moment. But today we're gonna look at Gregory Isaacs' career. We, in all fairness, we did this show some long time ago. At a time when we
episode 11.
Yes, we were having some issues, and the technology just wasn't there. And so now that we have gotten everything right, today we're presenting the Cool Ruler. Give them a little taste, them, Mr. Big G. Roughneck with up on street again. Just want to tell the listeners who are the viewers on Facebook that we're going to invite you to join us on yawdmedia.com, where you will be able to watch this show without interruptions. And while you're there, just take the time and sign up on the Yaawd Media website. Sign up for our mailing list, and lots of things happening on Yaawd Media for the rest of the year. You want to be part of that? Sign up. Roughneck Garth.
They're street again. I had to play that track because you mentioned the fact that he's been to jail so many times. And in the song, he says, I wonder what's so special about me. Every time they see me, they want to hold me.
Listen, without question, Gregory was a challenge. I would not have wanted to have been
mother would have said it was a handful.
It was a prison full. But anyway, but let's focus on the music, because I find a singer difficult to find. Gregory Isaacs grew up in Fletcher's Land, and born in Fletcher's Land in Kingston, and basically made his bones. Obviously
he would have been
70 years old this year. Absolutely.
Yes, 1951.
But he got going into the music business as a part of the talent contest that would have been, frequent around his time as a youngster, 15, 16 years old. And he distinguished himself significantly on those talent contests, and over time he basically went into the studio. One of his first tunes he recorded in 1968 for Byron Lee, a tune called Another Heartache, and then he would find success further down the road with a tune called My Only Lover. And that tune in question, he was credited as being one of the first lovers rock tune to come out of Jamaica. Garth, you want to give the listeners a little
Definitely.
taste?
I also want to put a little bit of tidbit in there.
Yes.
Another Heartache was done under the moniker Winston Sinclair. Yeah, so just that if you went looking for Gregory Isaacs,
you're not going to find that.
You're probably not going to find it. So that was done as under the moniker Winston Sinclair. But here's Another Heartache. First outing, 1968. All right.
Early lovers rock.
Lover.
Early.
Yeah, man. It's so slow that was compared to the other song.
Early.
And that was just a matter of 4 years.
Absolutely. But the lovers rock thing had its roots in England. And I think Gregory basically saw an opportunity, and he capitalized on it from the Jamaica end. Funny, because the woman saw him from as the lover man, so to speak, whereas on the male side, as the audiences were concerned, man them see him as a roughneck, bad man,
right,
kind of persona. But what he basically entrenched himself in terms of on the lovers rock side from a female perspective. But in terms of roots reggae, he would have been the originator. He had created the African Museum label with Errol Dunkley.
Right.
Somewhere around 1968, 69. And they created that label to sort of get a piece of the music business for themselves.
Yep. By that time, Richie, a lot of the artists would have been lamenting the shortcomings they faced from the other studios, and so therefore the entrepreneur Gregory Isaacs was, along with Errol Dunkley, was the necessary direction to take.
It was. In fact, I've always maintained that as the music business grew, the developments in the music expanded the opportunities, and the more enterprising artists saw themselves as participants. Certainly Gregory Isaacs had more than the ability. Himself and Errol Dunkley, two forward-thinking users. Just a pity that Gregory seemed to have become easily sidetracked, if you will, by multiple distractions, if you will. And the African Museum thing, contrary to it didn't last any time. But be that as it may, Gregory made several attempts, in fact, to try to drive revenues to the African Museum concept. He did a lot of music out there. In fact, he was part of a group called the Concords.
Right.
And I think they put out a number of pieces, some of which I'm sure you're gonna share with the listeners. God, Blacker Kill Black, Lonely Soldier, which is a Mike Williams.
Yep. Suffer.
Don't let me suffer. Extra Classic, which is a cover. He also did a cover of Dobby Dobson's Loving Papa. So let's give a listen.
Yes, and that last one is a classic.
All I Have Is Love.
Let us talk about Blacker Kill Black, Richie.
No, hold on. I just want to tell the ladies that all I have is love. All I have is love. I have to follow the cool rule. Yeah?
Breakfast this morning.
Yeah, man, I had a nice ackee saltfish breakfast with some fried dumpling.
Feeling the love.
So I'm feeling the flour. But seriously, Gregory Isaacs, the Blacker Kill Black. And it's interesting you raise that song, God, because we have a debate going on in Jamaica right now in terms of, crime and violence. And I've always maintained, people are talking about singers singing about gunman this and, shatter and all them kind of thing. What is happening is that the music is just basically a reflection of what is out there. And this song, Blacker Kill Black, is 1973, 1974. When the violence wasn't even at its height, right? But it just makes the argument that we've been killing each other. This is 46, 47 years before, 47 years ago. And that song, 47 years, would still be relevant within the context of Jamaica's criminality right now. Eh?
That's true.
And so, it just makes the point that these singers, their lyrics are influenced by what is out there. The musician, the singer, the writer, they are mere scribes recording for posterity what is on the ground. They're writing and singing about their own experiences. And this is it. Gregory Isaacs spent a lot of time writing music about police harassment and brutality. I mean, no other singer
what's so special
sitting
about
inside of a cell more than Gregory Isaacs, and so he it's not it wouldn't be unusual for him to be putting that in song. But again, I want to come back. This Blacker Kill Black thing, it is a story that is as old as time itself, and for us as a small country, it's an issue that we need to pay more attention to. Just want to use the opportunity to encourage those people who are on Facebook that you should drift over to www.yaawdmedia.com, and when you go there, take a few minutes, a few seconds, and just sign up for the the mailer. So you can, a mailing list where we can, give you reminders of upcoming programs, etc., etc. Yes, Guy.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that crime has existed way before it would seem as if there were advocacy for songs talking about gun violence and all of that. The fact is, though, that Gregory Isaacs, known as the Cool Ruler and also as the King of Lovers Rock, my favorite song, one of my favorite top reggae songs of all times, is the song that I'm going to play right now, because I think that this will go a far way, even though it was more a personal romantic gesture, but my favorite reggae song. The year was 1976, Mr. Cop. Most of those songs were from the All I Have Is Love anthology or album.
Gregory Isaacs is, without question, a singer with a vast catalog. His catalog deep. And again, we always talk about this, Garth, about you want to get an idea of what was going on. A singer like Gregory Isaacs, you listen to the music coming out of his catalog, you get a nice feel. It was a different time, as a young boy in the early 70s, we were into, like a young boy, a high school, like a high school girlfriend and thing, walk and hold hand, and all the, sexting. Not that it wasn't there, but for most of us, that wasn't our focus, The music sort of did a lot of the talking for you, especially you have a little, you used to go parties in Harborview and you get close to a
Rollington Town or Rockford.
There you go. And when you drop a Gregory, Lovers Rock on the third
cool and deadly thing.
Everything, the world is almost at it just stand on the little space.
Especially if it's with a young lady that you want to dance with. I remember those days, Richard, a party used to cut in and tell a man, say, yo, my time for dance. My time for dance with a girl.
It's true. I remember my years. I was at Camperdown, and you go a little Harborview party, and when the music sweet, you touch a man on him shoulder and say, yo, give me a little cut in, man.
Yes.
After a while, we start running you, man. We say, cut in, you bring your own thing. You come a party, you bring your own girl.
But I remember those days.
Worst thing, dance. And then, they want to cut in for you when you play, when all of the soul music are playing.
Yes.
And if all a soul boy dance with all your woman, you know, see her again for the rest of the party. So. Yeah, but seriously, the Gregory Isaacs, that Lovers Rock feel coming out at that point in time, and we were feeling the pressure. He did a lot of songs about his own experiences in terms of the police and the issues. He had his own weaknesses, and those weaknesses over time
led to his undoing.
Yeah, it led to his undoing. It messed him up in terms of his voice. But we are revisiting, a significant part of the body of his work, and we're gonna regale the viewers and the listeners with more.
You know what I love about a lot of Gregory's songs, especially the songs that, the romantic ones, was how much he regaled women and put them on a pedestal, apart from the fact, based on some of the misogynistic songs that were out at the time. But if you listen to the songs like Private Secretary, Number One, Private Beach Party,
1980s,
those songs, wicked songs, and those are the songs you look forward to. Like this one. we had to put a stop to that song. But one of the things that I really, really love about Jamaican music is the fact that most of these songs, you can listen to them, and as we say, you know what's going on. One of the things that I love is you can hear the euphemisms, the trendy words at the time, like back in the days, they go and come for check your data.
Check your data.
You use words like rest, your talawa, holy corner. Those things, it's just, it just reflects what's going on around. So the vibrancy and the vibe that you get from these songs, And now these songs arrest you and just take you back then. When I heard Mr. Brown the first time, that was 1979. I was like a young, like a 14-year-old teenager. And, you know,
yesterday you born, but
them time there, you talk about, go on your man, you go check him data. Yo, brethren, when Mr. Brown posts up outside them gate to them cutlass, pass which gate and go check who.
But you're right, Mr. Brown. I come to check your data.
Plus you have dreadlocks.
Listen, and a man with fame reputation. But still, it was a wicked tune. This was, what was it? This was the album, The Cool Ruler and Soon Forward album. He had released these two albums. This was around 1977, 1978. And Gregory Isaacs is now in his Aki, right?
Yes.
But before we talk about him in Aki, let's go back in a Mr. Brown tune. Because that tune is a wicked tune. Wow.
Party in the Slum. And Richard, there was a particular song.
You have to come on Sunday Scoops to know them tune. When you come, you have to come with your book and your pencil and your slate pencil. Because we'll take you through some musical education.
Border.
Go ahead, man.
No, I'm asking you, Border. I mean, talking about at the time 1978, which was between Michael Manley winning election in 1976 and ramping up to the next election.
The big election 1980.
And you and I know that there are some communities in Kingston, you live across the road and you can't cross the road.
That was especially in Trenchtown, between Rima and Trenchtown, where Collie Smith Drive is essentially the border. Collie Smith Drive, 7th Street. You people, if you live across from Rima, you don't, or either way, you don't get caught on Collie Smith Drive. You don't want to get caught on 7th Street because it's a funeral, right? And so this was Gregory talking about how the politics is interpreted on the road. On the road. In fact, it spoke to the lowest time. Well, I'm wondering if any time can lower than now. But at that time, it was a particularly low time, because what we did is that we created these political enclaves, the zones where you dare not get caught on certain streets. And, especially after certain hours, because, again, there's almost a guarantee that you're going to be a funeral.
Dare not wear red or green?
You can't wear certain colors, orange or red, green, out of the question. It is a period in Jamaica's history that we really need to pay some attention to. And again, when we criticize the musicians or the singers and the writers of songs about putting these developments, these issues in making them lyrical content for songs. This is what it is. A songwriter, a singer is doing no less than the great African tradition, telling the story of the experiences that they are going through. And to your point, Border is a representation, in my mind, of one of the lowest periods of Jamaican social and political history. And this is in that 1976 to 1980s period when politics divided the country. And even to this day, we have not recovered from it. So, it's one of the beauty of Gregory Isaacs' ability as a man who telling the story through song, is that he can segue into a lover's rock mode, and then he come back on the other side in terms of a roots reggae singer, and he outline a story. Just
like in that song, Slave Master.
Absolutely.
Right.
Give the listeners that.
And we just played Slave Master. And on the Soon Forward album, there's one particular song, and there's a couple of songs that's going to show Gregory's serious side. We also want to let the listeners know that Greg was also a serious entrepreneur, apart from the Black Ark Museum, or
the African Museum.
African Museum label,
right.
Sorry. He also had a cash and carry, bicycle cash and carry business, and as you know, cash and carry is a wholesale where if you have a small corner shop, you can go and buy your goods to sell in a corner shop. So, you know, he enterprised, you know, enterprising man.
Well, his entrepreneurial side, you saw that with the African Museum label at the time, which was significant. My, you know, again, one more disappointment, and it just also shows just how the music evolved in from a Jamaica perspective, the evolution of the music. A lot of the artists who wanted to become more involved in the not just the creative, but the entrepreneurial side of the thing, just never had the guidance. Most of these guys were singing from 15, 16, 17 years old. So not a lot of schooling was there either. And so it again, a reflection of the deficiencies of the period. We criticize reggae music in Jamaica to this day without realizing that the industry evolved almost like tourism, like an accident. Because we have sun and we have sea, we create tourists. And because these people, we create tourism. Because these people can sing and willing to put their ideas in song, we created this music. But nobody saw that there was another side that needed to be developed.
The business side.
And we lost that. Big tunes. You played quite a couple of tunes from that middle period when Gregory is now stepping into his own, 1980, between 1981 82, when he would have made his first
Front
appearance
Door,
on
Top 10, Stranger in the Town.
Those were the records that pushed him into Sunsplash during that period, and basically for the next 10 years he was always a feature on the Sunsplash bill. Not afraid to tackle subjects, not afraid to make himself the subject of a lot of his songs.
Yeah, which basically was reflected in the 3 prior songs to that, Universal Tribulation, Black Liberation Struggle, and Slave Market.
Absolutely.
Show that he was quite astute and he was aware of what was happening at the time, because that's one of the things that we've always lamented was the slave trade and the injustices meted out to Africans who are in the diaspora, you know, and we talk about the disparity in recognition. The powers that be just wants to sweep slavery under the rug while they'll highlight the atrocities of Hitler against the Jews, you know. So, but those are the things that he talked about.
Sound like you're philosophic, waxing philosophical this morning.
Yeah, I'm eating a philosophical breakfast.
No, but it's a critical period. The 1970s was a time when Jamaicans were more socially aware, more politically aware, you know, recognizing the role, you know, Jamaica played within the international sphere. We would have been part and parcel of the breakdown of apartheid. Jamaica had a big voice in terms of
definitely.
that. We were coming out of the Michael Manley era as well, which is credited with the responsibility for bringing about a greater level, a higher level of social consciousness among Jamaicans. And again, you're seeing that reflected in the lyrics of the music of the day. And, you know, what better way, what better vehicle to express that than Gregory Isaacs. By this time, too, he had now started to tour. But the person he was, Gregory Isaacs, is always a magnet for some sort of trouble. And by 1982, again, him gone back to prison, right? I think he had done some time for having a firearm at one instance.
Yep.
And again, he went, I think he did a 6 months stretch for cocaine possession and for having an unlicensed firearm. And of course, he claimed that he had the gun for his protection. He just seemed to forget that he need to have a little thing named a license, a permit to carry the gun. but at that time it would have been his the 27th time that he would have been arrested, and and he was, without question, it became clear now that his addiction to crack cocaine. But this was not before he burst through the roof with what would have been, in my opinion, his biggest song, Night Nurse, which the song was done on an Island Records label, and the appeal was not just national. The appeal
It was international.
International. Let me tell you something. Boy, I got to go up on a run here. This is, you have to give Gregory Isaacs his credit, because in spite of all of the issues that he was having, he made the transition from hardcore reggae, lovers rock, roots rock reggae into dancehall almost seamlessly, in spite of all of his problems. And did he not have problems? But, again, everything come back down to the producer.
Yes.
Because this was a period to where all of the Gargan producers them out there, Leroy, Fatis Borrell,
Gussie Clark,
Bobby Digital, Stevie and Clevie. These are all of the big names, and Gregory Isaacs at this time stood up against all the newcomers who were tearing out the dance halls.
Yes. That was a good little run, Richie.
Yeah, you celebrated Gregory's return from confinement very well. But it also demonstrated, I'll be the first to say, in spite of the criticisms you want to level at Gregory Isaacs, he understood how to transition through the changes in the genres of the music. And when dancehall became center stage, he too put himself in the center stage. Again, all have to do with who you work with, and he worked with pretty much all of the best.
All of the top shotters at the time.
The thing. Those combinations, though, that particularly stuff he did with Dennis Brown. In fact, they used to have these shows at the National Arena, as you late summer, as you get into that Christmas period, Dennis Brown and Friends. And I had the opportunity to be present at two of those shows with Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaacs, and I'm telling you something, it's worth paying the price of admission 2-3 times over. That was how good thing. There was a sort of a synergy between them both. I mean, I've seen Dennis sing with people like Beres Hammond. I've seen him with John Holt, and with Gregory Isaacs, I think Dennis never had to worry that Gregory is trying to take the show away from him, as with some of the other people.
It was a good compliment.
He was an excellent compliment, and those shows are always sold out shows. But, this was Gregory making another go at it. He's a man where no matter what, a hard man for dead, as Prince Buster would say. No matter how much time him fall down, he managed to be able to get up, brush himself off, and come back up again. And he had a couple of albums that were nominated around this time for Reggae Grammy. But, again, it showed that even on the international stage, despite all of the issues that he had, that his worth was still there. And again, the government accorded him an order of distinction upon his passing. But, he was well deserved. One of the true ambassadors of the music coming out of Jamaica.
Hi there. If you enjoyed that clip, go on over to our website at yardmedia.com, where you can watch the entire broadcast at your leisure. And while you're there, why don't you check out our other reggae music features? And before you leave, pick up some of our Jamaican reggae merchandise, and hey, don't forget to tell your friends.